Good morning, team. Happy Thursday. So what happened to the news that was scheduled for today? Where did it go? Did they just cancel the announcement, I guess? That was weird. Buenos dias. Good morning, G-Man. Good morning, Yartex. Oh, enjoy the grandkids. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Good afternoon, Linka. Interesting day we have, you guys. All-time high day. Big gap up. Not super fun to trade, but we're gonna make a plan. So I marked off these gray shaded areas are some high volume nodes, which honestly I'm pulling straws on these high volume nodes because there's not much volume up here, obviously. So if this thing is just going to continue to grind up, these are some possible bounce areas at like 25, 100, possibly. A little bit more down here. Obviously, bigger support down here at yesterday's value area high and point of control, but that would be a huge pullback. I mean, if it comes back down there, then awesome. That would be a great bounce spot, really, at like 25,000-ish, because that's also near where the market closed last night. But the risk to reward on longs right now is not great unless we get a pretty big pullback. I would not be opposed to maybe taking a quick scalp short if it drops below this recent support at 25,134. Like if the market opens pretty heavy and there's a strong sell-off and we get a good close below this level, the risk to reward on that wouldn't be bad. And possibly scale out at VWAP and then see what the market wants to do and maybe come back down to 25K. I don't know if that's going to happen though. I mean, this thing is just up only. So I'm not expecting that, but if it opens bearish, that would be a cool scenario. Other than that, we can just kind of watch for some quick little scalps off of any of these support levels, possibly down to VWAP. If it comes down to here at like 25.91-ish, something like that, maybe. Gonna have to be quick today. And for me, I'm gonna size down, obviously, and then be really aggressive with stop losses. Yeah, it is hard to trade like this. At this level, we have no reference points. That is exactly right. Yeah, especially for, I mean, a trader like me, I trade off of support and resistance, volume levels, high volume levels, and there is no volume up here at all. So a big pullback would be nice. That would be a gift. But if this slow grind up continues, it's going to be hard to trade. If there's a heavy sell-off at the open, though, I could see it possibly coming back down to fill that gap, possibly maybe down to some bigger support levels. Even if we just catch a scalp down to VWAP, that would be a decent opportunity. What is gold doing? So fun fact, I don't know if you guys knew this, but gold's initial balance is actually from 8:20 to 9:20 a.m. Eastern. So we do have our initial balance on gold. So this would be initial balance low. And then this is initial balance high. Where is, if we anchor a VWAP at the opening candle? Coming up to IB high right now. Thanks, Waffles. Yeah, today will be an interesting day. Definitely going to be selective with trades, and then also, like I was saying, be size down and quick to move my stop loss as soon as I can. Gold's kind of sitting up here at all-time highs too. I think this is all-time high right here. Yep. Or, yeah, 39.22. Let's see if it rejects this initial balance high. Yeah, gold opens earlier. Market open for gold is 820. $8:20 Eastern. Yartex, if you are in my Discord group, in the tools and resources section, one of the first things I posted, it's actually a list of all the different instruments you can trade and all their market open times. So not all of them open up at 9:30 Eastern. Actually, a lot of them open up at different times. So if you're interested in trading other stuff, check out that list. And if you trade initial balance. Starting to reject a little bit. Risk to reward on that is decent. Just playing around with an idea, not trading it right now. Kind of just unsure of what to do with NQ, so I'm watching it. All right, we got the New York Open for NQ in about 4 minutes. Waffles, I did. What do you guys think is going to happen in the Open? We going to pump? Or is this thing going to fill the regular trading hours gap and come back down? G-Man thinks it's going to drop. I don't know, man. Feel like there's no stopping this thing. Yeah, I'm with you, Take No Marvel. I think it's going to go crazy. I don't know if it's ultimately going to go up or down, but I think the first 5 minutes is just going to be like all over the place. That's my guess. We'll see how the first 5 minute candle closes. One thing to think about is if there's going to be a sell-off at the open, it could go down fast because this has kind of been a low volume grind up all night. One minute till the market opens. See how it goes. Decent support, like a decent high volume node here. So maybe if we break below 150, possibly look for a scalp short. But again, like I said, sizing down and gonna be aggressive with moving my stops to break even. Gonna give this first candle a second. Kind of see which way momentum is going. All right, trying a short. Again, just because the risk to reward is good, purely a momentum play. Let's see, maybe if it comes down to VWAP or this support here. The support is at 100. VWAP is at 95. Still a couple minutes on this first opening candle. Let's see if the momentum continues down. If this thing stays heavy and goes to like regular trading hours gap fill, that would kind of be what I would be targeting, right around 25K. But we'll be scaling out and watching before then. I don't like that it's not continuing down. Makes me wonder if we are going to get a bounce. Not a good sign that we're not continuing. All right, so we broke below that support level. Next high volume node is around 108. I'll take off one there because that is also right around VWAP. Oops. Come on. This thing does not want to go down. See if we can get it to come down to VWAP before we take that first profit. Trailing my stop loss to break even at this point. Because if it's going to bounce, it would be here. VWAP is a good spot, and there is some support here. Buyers haven't been able to take it back up yet. Sellers are definitely winning this battle so far. All right, it's breaking below VWAP. If this closes below, might come back down to these levels, the regular trading hours, gap fill. Somewhere around 25.10-ish. What would regular trading hours be? Yep, right around where I have it. Gonna trail, keep trailing, because it could bounce anywhere. You knew I'd be in a short? I feel like that's where the risk to reward was. Very nice, Maverick. Good stuff. Let's see if it keeps coming down. I like that it closed below VWAP. That was kind of a big spot for me on whether or not this was going further. Yeah, see Laporte, my VWAP is on TradingView. The Project X VWAP, maybe they fixed it, but it wasn't working super well. Gonna keep trailing this support, this chop level around like 25, 100-ish could come out to retest that, so I'll trail to above that. Yeah, I do most of my heavy charting on TradingView and then just take my trades on Project X. That's why I've flipped back and forth between the two tabs. Kind of just gotten used to it at this point. It doesn't bother me. Looking good so far. Got past these other high volume nodes. Previous day high is coming up here, 25.39. Value area high, so we're kind of getting to some points here. I like this target of 25K or just above it. Because like I said, that's a regular trading hours gap fill. It's right near yesterday's point of control. This high volume node on the higher time frame. That could be a spot for it to bounce. Potentially, if it hits this target and it bounces, I'm not opposed to taking a long. Well, while we're waiting for this trade to play out, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. We got 93 people in here, and last time I looked, we had like 25 likes. That's a big difference. There's like 70 of you guys who haven't hit that like button. If we get to 100, I have an account to give you guys. Do a drawing for an account. We are going to do a duck race for the Lucid entries. So in my Discord, we were doing a giveaway for anyone who purchased a Lucid account with my code. You're entered into the drawing. So I'll do that one today because that finished up last night. And then on the stream, if we get to 100 likes, I have another account to give away to you guys. Oh, nice, G-Man. So that was another trade day eval that you passed. Day 5, $3,000 profit target. You're done. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I think Lucid and TradeDay are my favorites right now. I love Tradeify too, just because of the reliability. They've been around. They're going to pay you out. Like, that's always nice. But I do like Lucid, the no monthly fee. I think it's really good for beginners because then you're not feeling rushed. Like, if I don't pass it in a month, then I'm gonna have to pay another monthly fee. You can take as long as you want. And then if you're more advanced and you want to have backup accounts, like what I do is I have 5 pro accounts and I have backups that are ready in case I blow the pro accounts and I don't have to pay a monthly fee for them. So yeah, I really like Lucid. They're fast to pay out too. My first payout with them, I actually did a video on it. It was less than 60 seconds from when I hit the payout request and it hit my account. Crazy. I've never seen that before. The one that I'm treating right now, Randy Rogers, is TradeDay. This is I'm in a challenge called an Influencer Cup, which I don't even like the name. I don't feel like I'm an influencer. I'm just a regular person trying to figure out trading. But it's a contest. So there's a leaderboard. If you're in the Discord, I blew this account yesterday. I was being stupid. I totally could like hear the mental talk in my head of like, this is just an eval account. It's not like I didn't even pay money for it. It's just a contest. It's just for fun. Might as well go for it. YOLO. So dumb. It was not my finest moment. So today, starting it fresh and actually trying to trade like a trader, not a degen. This is Project X. I like Project X. It's my favorite. Paul, yeah, Lucid is available in Canada. I'm 99% sure. Well, it's bouncing at yesterday's value area high. Are we going to continue down? Nope, Tradeify and Lucid are both prop firms. The broker would be like the platform that you trade on, like Trade of 8, Ninja Trader, Project X. You get to choose that. Lucid, no, there's no activation fee. So with Lucid, for example, like if you get the test account, you pay a one-time fee for the account. And then when you pass, there's no more fees. There's no monthly fee. Like there's no more fees with it. It's a one-time fee. Maybe should have taken a little bit of profit here. That was previous day high and value area high from yesterday. Decent support level there. Trim my stop loss a little bit lower. Let's see if it rejects here. Yesterday's point of control is 25.24, so I'll scale one more out there just so I'm not being greedy. With Lucid, you can copy trade up to 5 accounts. With prop firms, do you have to pay for level 2 data? Yes, I believe so. Like if you trade with Trade of 8, for example, they'll give you, it includes the live data, but I don't think it includes level 2 data. You have to pay for that. It's not much though, isn't it? Like $5 a month or something like that. I don't know. I don't use it. I don't pay for it. So not sure what the cost is, but I don't remember it being that much. With Lucid, once you pass the eval, there's no more fees, no monthly fee. So for example, if you do, either way, if you do the test account or the direct account, it's a one-time fee. There's no more monthly fees. And no activation fee, nothing. You shouldn't have to pay anything after that. In Project X, yeah, there's live data. It's all included in the account. Like if you purchase an account with a prop firm, you get the live data. You don't have to pay any other like subscription fees or anything. Nope. Mohammed and Yartex, hopefully that answered your question. Both of you kind of asked the same thing. There's no other like live data fees or anything like that. Until you get to live, which is way down the road. Like you would have to be taking 4 to 6 payouts depending on the prop firm. Some live accounts, after you've been trading successfully and they take you live, sometimes they'll charge you monthly like CME fees. But no, for regular prop firm accounts, there's no data fees or anything. And Yartex, I think you were the one saying that you might try Lucid. Right now, there's a 50% off deal. Yartex, are you in the Discord? Okay, cool. So if you go to prop firm recommendations, I'll actually put the link in the chat, but if you click on the link, this Lucid link, that like brings you to their website, and then you actually have to use code NINJA50 to get the 50% off for the first 2 accounts. The first 2 accounts are 50% off right now with their promotion. And then any account that you want to purchase after that, like if you want to do 5 and copy trade 5, it's 40% off, and you can just use code Krista for those. But for your first ones, just click that link and then use NINJA50. Well, the 15-minute initial opening range has been set, and it's just continuing to go down. I didn't even mark those levels. There's no sign of it going back up yet. And as I say that, it looks like it's heading back up now. This right here, if I looked at it right, should be our 15-minute opening range low. So it did break out to the downside. It's closing back within it. So that's interesting. And we did come down to some decent levels at like previous day high, value area high. So this could potentially be a fake breakout to the downside and then continuation back up. So we'll see how it closes on the outside of this range. But it might bounce from here. Let's see where our New York VWAP is. I'm going to reverse my position and risk it, you guys. Fake breakout to the downside. Let's see if it heads back up. Reason being, it came down to the top of that high volume node, point of control, value area high, like decent bounce area. And I like fake 15-minute opening range breaks. Let's see if it plays out. Oh, okay. Good to know, Yartex. Nope. This thing is going to continue lower. All right. Let's see what happens at the gap fill. 25K. See again. Right down here. That's almost exactly 25K. Decent spot for a bounce. Yeah, K George, P&L is multiplied a little bit because I'm doing a 150 account. I've never traded a 150K account before. So I know I talked to you guys in Discord about it, but this is a little outside of my comfort zone. Mentally having to accept like, whoa, that was a $300 loss. I'm not used to that. But percentage wise, like, that's about right. No, Randy, I haven't gotten much into the EMAs. I've watched videos on so many different strategies, but oh man, you guys, I really want to take a long here. I want to try it again. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, Randy, found something that worked for me and stuck with it. I'm going to try the idea again. It's bouncing at a decent support level, closing back within the 15-minute opening range. We could be heading back up. If it breaks above this anchored VWAP, would be a good sign. Yeah, Maverick, that's not a bad idea, honestly. That's all right. Dollars makes it more exciting. Okay, George, I always started with the 50K. Like when I was a beginner trying out prop firms for the first time, I did 50K just because, for one, they were cheaper, but mostly because the profit target to pass the account was $3,000. And that seemed like a whole lot more achievable than the $9,000 target that I have to hit on this bad boy. And then once I got to where I was a better trader, I just stuck with the 50K. It works. There's plenty of drawdown for me. So this light blue line is the New York anchored VWAP. It's rejecting from there. Come on. Can it hold this opening range or is it going to go lower? Where is the regular VWAP? 2586. I don't know if this thing is going all the way back to the top of the range. It might not. Depends on if it's going to be a bullish day and we bounced at the bottom and then we're going to go back to all-time highs, or if we're going to drop lower. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. Take note, Marvel, good question. Are you asking about prop firms? So it depends on what kind of account you get. If you get like a test account, for example, which is basically an eval, they're kind of just testing your trading ability. After that $3,000 profit target, they transfer you to a funded account where there's different rules. But for Lucid, for example, you have to trade 5 green days before requesting a payout. And in the 50K account, that's $150 is counted as like a green day. So after 5 days of $150 and then at least hitting the minimum profit target, you can request a payout. If you do what's called a straight to funded account, or Lucid calls it their direct account, you can take a payout after that $3,000 profit target, assuming you hit some other rules, like you have to have 20% consistency and a minimum of 5 days trading. So depends on the rules. The straight to funded is quicker to pay out, but more expensive, obviously, because it's more risk for the prop firm. Awesome, Yartex. Good luck. My biggest advice is to take it slow. I think one of my biggest struggles is I'm a numbers person. Like, I have spreadsheets and charts for everything, and I can tell you like percentages and math and all kinds of stuff. My brain just thinks in numbers. I think that's why I like trading. But it screws me up with all the like profit targets, and if I trade to this profit target in 5 days, then I can get a payout, and if I multiply that times 5 accounts, then I can make this much money by the end of the week. Like, that's the story that goes through my head. So just shut that up. Like, don't think about how fast you can get a payout or how many days it's going to take me to get a payout. Just trade. Just manage your risk. Just trade. If it happens in 3 months, Who cares? If it happens in 3 weeks, cool. But don't rush the payout. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Take it slow. Yeah, waffles. Someone else mentioned that earlier too. I think it was Maverick mentioning the ticks instead of dollars. That's not a bad idea. Well, so far so good. I think I'm going to move my profit target to break even, at least. My stop loss to break even. Kind of slowly making its way back above VWAP. The New York anchored VWAP. The question is it going to go all the way back to the top of the range? That seems a little greedy, possibly. We have overnight VWAP sitting at 25.85. We have this decent resistance at 25.100. So let's see what we get. Do you know of any easier prop firms where you can get no challenges and instant pay? No, honestly. I've looked at so many different prop firm accounts and the rules and how it works, because that was my goal in the beginning too, is like, let's find the easiest payout opportunity. And I'll put them into two categories. You either have to do an eval before you get to the funded account, or you have to do the straight to funded, which is more expensive, and there's stricter rules. Like you have to hit 20% consistency and a minimum number of trading days or whatever. So either way, they're going to test your trading ability before they give you the opportunity to take money out of the account. If you find anyone who tries to give you an account that's like selling you on the fact that it's really fast payouts and they're going to pay you right away, it's an instant funded account and it's cheap, I would run away fast, because that prop firm is probably going to go out of business. Think of it from the business standpoint. If they just paid everyone out all the time, they wouldn't make any money. And not only would they not make any money, they'd go out of business. So they either need to test you with stricter rules in the direct funded accounts or make you pass a test first, an eval. I don't like Take Profit Trader. I have used them. The reason I don't like them is as soon as you pass the eval, it goes to intraday drawdown, and I'm not a fan of intraday. I like TradeDay better. So if you're looking at Take Profit Trader, TradeDay is nearly identical, where it's a 5-day eval, $3,000 profit target for the 50K account. As soon as you pass the eval, you have to trade to a $2,000 buffer, and then you get daily payouts, no consistency rules. Like all of that is identical to Take Profit Trader. The difference is TradeDay has end of day drawdown, not intraday. So if you like Take Profit Trader's rules, go with TradeDay. That's my recommendation. And right now with code Krista, TradeDay is 30% off and no activation fee. All right, Linka, have a good day. Yeah, see Laporte, my stop losses are based on levels, usually like the previous swing low or swing high or whatever, and then move it to break even as soon as I can. depending on if I feel like I'm going against the trend or whatever. Like sometimes I'll move my stop loss quicker. Yeah, so TradeDay's eval has a 30% consistency, which honestly is not that hard. It's just 5 days. Hit your $3,000 profit target with 30% consistency. Not that big of a deal. But then there's zero consistency afterwards. Like all the handcuffs are off. Daily payouts, no consistency, no caps, all that. Waffles, you're funny. You degen, just kidding. Oh my gosh, yeah. Take profit trader. That's another reason I don't like them. The intraday drawdown is, I'm not a fan of that rule. I think it's a stupid trading rule. But their customer service, oh my gosh, if you need anything, or if they like overcharge you and you need a refund, it's going to take them at least a week to get anything done. And that's frustrating. So another X for TPT. Yeah, Lucid is just a one-time fee, not monthly. That is unheard of in the prop firm industry. That's why they are definitely edging out some of the other prop firms on my list, in my opinion. Mohammed, sure, I can talk to you about the Lucid payout system. I did a video on it too, so if you have any questions and want further clarification, you can watch that. But are you looking at the direct account or the test account? Alrighty, that's why I moved my stop loss to break even. So it looks like it's might be coming down to that gap fill, which kind of makes sense because we were right there. It was like 15 points away. I want to watch and see what happens at this 25K level. Kind of make a decision from there. If it continues down past that level, then we could be going a lot lower, obviously. But that's also a decent spot for a bounce. So we shall see. So Mohammed, for the test account, I'll give you numbers based on the 50K account because that's what I usually trade, but these will be different depending on what you buy. It's a $3,000 profit target. There's no minimum days trading. You can technically pass the eval in one day if you want, although I wouldn't recommend that. Once you pass the eval, you go to a Lucid Pro account. And in there, you have to hit 5 days, 5 green days to request a payout. So $150 is considered a green day for them. Like a minimum $150, you can request a payout, 5 days of that. There's a 35% consistency rule. And I believe the minimum profit is $3,000. Once you hit that $3,000 profit, 35% consistency, and at least 5 green days, you can request a payout, a max payout of $1,500 on the first payout. And then after that, it goes up to $2,000, and then like it steadily increases, which makes sense because they want you to kind of build up your buffer and not withdraw the whole amount and blow the account. I'm not opposed to a short here, but it keeps holding this 15-minute opening range low. So this thing could go back up too. Gonna wait for some more information. All right, see you, Laporte. Thanks for the kind words. Have a great day. I'm debating. Trying along again. I know it's crazy. Probably dumb. We have some wise conversations going on in the chat. It might go up. It might go down. And you are right. Very true. Come on. Belka, you're welcome. Glad you found it helpful. And welcome. Oh, grumpy, you're late. Are you having a grumpy morning? Have you had your coffee yet? Coffee makes everything better. Got mine. Oh, getting a cup now. There you go. How do I manage risk when I'm on a funded account? I typically trade the 50K accounts, which have a $2,000 drawdown. So for me, I usually keep my stop losses at $200. This account right now I'm trading is a 150K account, so it's a little bit different. But normally, $2,000 drawdown, I keep my stop losses at $200. And I don't just put it at an arbitrary spot on the chart so that it equals $200. I put my stop loss. So like, for example, I use my risk reward tool on TradingView. And I'll enter, like if I'm entering a long here and I want my stop loss to be here based on price action, this tool right here will tell me quantity to 2 contracts. So I'll adjust my size based on where I want my stop loss. So So that's how I manage risk. Hopefully that answers your question. Sitting at VWAP right now. Let's see if we break through it. If we do, I don't see why we don't head back to the range high. We're about to find out though. Oh, it's rejecting VWAP and coming back down. Come on, buyers. You got to put some work in to get through this. Do I only trade micros when funded? I only trade micros in general. I would need a much bigger buffer or drawdown to be ready to trade minis. I can blow a whole $2,000 drawdown in one trade with minis. Yeah, G-Man, that rejection from VWAP is making me want to reverse my position. Gonna let the idea play out though, because I do like the area that we bounced. I like the fake breakout to the downside on the opening range, the reclaim. I like it, but that rejection from VWAP is no good. It's gonna give it another try. You're gonna need some more volume than that, buyers, if you're gonna break through VWAP. Come on. It looks pathetic right now. $91 people watching, 61 likes. If everyone goes and hits that like button, like everyone who's watching right now, we would probably get to 100. I have an account to give away if you guys want one. Once the trade opportunities slow down too, I'm going to do a duck race for the Lucid drawing for the entries from the Discord. I got your names on a list ready to go. Yeah, Alex, except we're all in sim accounts. This isn't helping the market. Oh man, Yartex, the lockout feature is key. Absolutely key. welcome, Belka. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Thanks for subscribing. Oh man, there is a battle here at VWAP. Bulka? I don't know. Now I'm just butchering it. Do I trail my stop loss on my trades? Yes. So once I kind of get a little better feeling of maybe some trend continuation, I'll trail my stop loss. Right now I was trying to give it some room to breathe. But if it ends up breaking above VWAP, then I'll definitely trail it. Right now I feel like it's still battling VWAP and it could come back down a little bit. So I don't want to end up moving my stop loss and then having it stop me out and then continuing in my direction. This is Project X, G-Trade. If you click on it and go to the settings, so like in the long, for example, you can either double click on it or whatever. I usually double click. Inputs, risk, however much you want to risk per trade. Enter your dollar amount there, and then it'll automatically calculate. So right now, see it says quantity 3 contracts. If I move it, it'll say 4 contracts. So that's how you adjust it. Come on, breakthrough VWAP, let's go. Now that we're almost an hour into the session, let's see. We're above a point of control. We don't really have any other high volume nodes to target on the current session volume profile. We do have the overnight trading levels. There's 25,100 is a decent spot. Yeah, Belka, in a nutshell, I use volume profile to find support and resistance levels, and previous session volume profile to find the value areas. That kind of gives me some direction on if we're above those levels, I'm going long. If we're below those levels, I'm looking for shorts in general. And then within this session, I use the 15-minute opening range and the initial balance range to kind of add some confluence to the volume profile levels that I mark off. But I mean, I could spend 2 hours kind of really diving into it deep. So if you want, you can check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of that broken down into different videos. I actually have a playlist, I think it's called like Futures Trading Strategy or something like that. I try to put them all into that folder so they're easier to find. Still rejecting VWAP, but it's not like selling off hard. One thing that I'm a little worried about is it's kind of maybe a bear flag. Kind of looks like it's flagging a little bit here. It needs to break to the upside. I don't like trend lines as much as I do like anchored VWAPs. So we can kind of see the momentum of the trend by looking at the VWAP. So if it breaks below this anchored VWAP, then that kind of shows that sellers are back in control. So we can watch that, maybe trail a little bit tighter. G-Trade I do sometimes. So I could have today actually set my volume profile from the previous opening. I typically just use the visible range volume profile for higher time frames, so I end up getting all of that volume in there. But for the session volume profile, I just use the New York session. That's where the majority of the volume is anyway. But on a day like today, it could have been helpful to look at the overnight session volume profile just because we were at a range where there wasn't any other resistance. So in a way, I did by using the visible range volume profile. That's how I have these gray shaded areas because that was the high volume nodes from the overnight trading session hours. So it's, I mean, a similar way to do it. Yeah, the point of control would be at a different location if you include more hours for sure. This thing is still not able to get back above VWAP. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign for longs. And the reason I'm starting to second guess it is the volume is going down. We're going to need some good volume to be able to break and hold above VWAP. Yeah, there was supposed to be a lot of announcements today. Like, I took a screenshot for the market news on Sunday night and posted it in Discord, and there were a couple things that were supposed to be announced today at 8:30 Eastern. I'll pull up the screenshot. There was supposed to be like jobless claims and factory orders, and neither one of those came out. So yeah, I guess maybe due to the shutdown, I don't know. I don't pretend to understand all that stuff. Still rejecting VWAP, guys. And like I said, I don't like that it's kind of flagging here. Session point of control is sitting at 2560. This thing could be heading back down. Or, as everyone in the chat was saying earlier, it could go up too. Who knows? Win rate sits in the 60s. It ranges between like 60% and 65, 66%, somewhere around there. Sometimes if I'm having a bad month, it's in the 50s, high 50s. Depends. I feel like I have a higher risk to reward than the average trader though, because I don't cut it at like an automatic 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. My win rate is lower because a lot of times I'll take a paper cut, like I'll try the same trade twice. Like for example, a bounce off of VWAP. I might be entering a long on a bounce off of VWAP and get stopped out for a $150 loss or something that's small, and then I'll re-enter the same idea, and then it'll go for like a 4R or something. So win rate isn't great, but risk to reward is good. That's kind of what I go for. All right, gonna give it another try. VWAP's sitting around here. If we can break above like 25,100-ish, could be going back up. Oh, this is killing me, you guys. Yeah, stocks Fox, not necessarily 25.91. I'm thinking past 25.100 really. And I'll tell you why. Because if you look at last night's chop right here, there was quite a bit of chop in this area. So same here. This is actually the level I was looking at. Sorry, not here. But this chop right here. Looking at that high volume node at like 25,109. I could see that being a possible spot for resistance if volume stays low like this. Normally, if there was a good amount of volume, that would be nothing to get past. But volume has disappeared. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Randy Rogers? There's a battle between win rate and all that stuff. Like, honestly, who cares? Like, you could have a 40% win rate. If you're taking payouts, good for you. It's all in how you manage your risk and all that, in my opinion. If you have a 40% win rate, but your losses are tiny and your wins are big, okay, it works for you. I don't care what your stats are as long as you're taking money out of the market. I think a lot of it depends on personality too. Like for me, I'm okay with sitting through a chop like this. Like I'm confident in my setup. I traded with good risk. Lots of confluences for entering this trade, and it's taking like 45 minutes to play out. I'm okay with that. But sometimes there's people in the chat who are like, oh my gosh, you have so much patience. I would have just cut my trade like 30 minutes ago. Some of those people like scalps better. They just want to get in, get out really fast. I'm okay with sitting in a trade for an hour and letting it play out. So whatever your personality is, however you like to trade, figure out what works for you. The battle at VWAP continues, you guys. This is wild. Kind of looks that way, Stocks Fox. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I'm in a long. I might set up our duck race here for our Lucid account people. Give us something fun. I'm getting all your names copied over. I guess government shutdown also means low volume in the markets. Is that a thing? Brandon, I just saw your comment. Yes, there are fake accounts, and unfortunately, all I can do is kick them out when I see them. But I can't, like, not allow them to use my name. But cool, I got your message. You sent it to the right one this time. Yeah, Kevin, the Lucid drawing that I'm doing right now, that was for anyone who purchased a Lucid account. I was putting your name into a drawing. But for the live stream, anyone who, if we get to 100 likes, I can do it. We're getting there. We got 73. Yeah, they take my picture. That's one disadvantage to like free Discord groups, is there's not really that wall, you know? One thing I could do is require, like, you can set up a link to join Discord in WAP, or there's other programs, but they require you to do like a human verification and enter your email address and all that stuff. That gets a lot of the spam bots out of the way. So this red line is that anchored VWAP from the low, starting to break below that. Not looking good. I'm going to reverse it. See what happens here at this gap fill. That would be target number one, but if this thing gets heavy, I'm gonna hold it. There she goes. We do have our initial balance low here, since we're past that hour, first hour of the open. So that is initial balance low. Let's see if it continues down below it. Could be a possible failed auction opportunity. Like if it comes down and fills this gap here at 25K and then closes back within the initial balance low, could look for longs in that opportunity. Are we going to get out of this chop and actually get some continuation? Still kind of holding around that point of control. This price action sucks, you guys. We got a little uptick of volume, selling volume on that candle that we dropped below VWAP. So that's a good indication. Like if we break VWAP with volume, there's usually continuation. It's just a matter of how far this thing's gonna go. Which trading platform do I use? So I chart on TradingView. Why? I don't know, because that's the well-known one that I learned on and I like it. Project X is the one that I trade on. That's what this is right now. I like it probably because it's really user-friendly for one, but I think the biggest reason is the lockout features. You can set like a daily profit target, a daily loss limit. I can go up here to this little button that says lockout all day, and yes, it'll lock me out, so I can't take any more trades. So it's really good for like discipline and emotion control and stuff. Like when I know I'm not seeing the market well, or I'm not trading well, or maybe I've taken a couple losses and I just need to walk away, instead of relying on myself to actually walk away, I can lock my account, so I have to. So that's why I like Project X. Yeah, daily profit target is usually based on the account that I'm trading. So like my Lucid funded accounts, for example, I set it at 1,400 just based on the consistency rule. Like I want to get to a $4,000 profit, and there's a 35% consistency rule. So 35% of 4,000 is 1,400. That would be my max that I can take in one day. This account, for example, is a 150K eval. There's a $9,000 profit target, and there's a 30% consistency rule. So my max profit in one day is 2,700. That's where I have it locked out. So to answer your question, it depends on the account that I'm trading. And that doesn't mean that I'm like, I have to trade to those numbers. That's just where I set my lockout, because that's the highest amount, but I'll walk away before then. When will we be able to transfer from Project X to TradingView since the launch? I don't know, Grumpy. That would be a great question to ask support. Sorry. Not sure how they're doing all the changeovers. Their Discord community, if you're in the Lucid, I assume you're talking about your Lucid account. Go to the Lucid Discord. They're really fast to answer and be helpful in there. They have a section that I think is called like support or Q&A or something like that. Yeah, Yartex, it closes the trade. It liquidates everything. If you hit your daily loss limit or your daily profit target, it'll just close out the trade and lock your account, so you're done. So this is our initial balance low, which is set because we're 60 minutes into the session over that. So we'll see if we bounce and hold there, or if it does come down to fill this gap. Regular trading hours gap. No, it doesn't, Belka. So if you're in a 50K account, $2,000 is usually where the trailing drawdown stops. So let's say you have $53,000 as a balance, then you'll have $3,000, or I think it's actually $2,900 because they usually have like $100 buffer. I don't know exactly, but it would be more than 2,000. Going to move to break even at least for now, because if it is going to bounce at the initial balance low, I'm going to be getting out and taking my profit. But I feel like it's just a good opportunity, since we're so close, to fill that gap and then bounce and possibly get a failed action trade out of it. That's kind of what I'm watching for. Slowly inching its way down. This is choppy, guys. Anyone falling asleep with this? I want it to go down. It's like 20 points away. How long is that going to take? Good morning, Scott. Hey, Belka. I saw you ask the question in the chat and then in the Discord too, but I answered it. The $2,000 or the drawdown stops after you've hit the $2,000 buffer. It doesn't continue to always be $2,000. You can get above the buffer and have a bigger drawdown. Good morning. It's okay, no problem. Yeah, I know. Most people are multitasking. They just have me on in the background and they're doing other stuff with kids or work or whatever. All right, coming down to initial balance low at 25.15. Are we going to bounce there or come down? What I'm looking for is possible fill this gap Regular trading hours gap fill, and then bounce and reclaim initial balance, possibly look for longs. If it plays out. If not, I can be done today too. Trailing my stop loss a little bit tighter in case it does bounce here, which it looks like it might. Oh my goodness. It's playing with me. Playing with my emotions. I got some cheerleaders in the chat. Let's go. Breaking below initial balance again. Looking decent. I'm going to take profit here at the gap fill. There's a a greedy part of me that's like looking at my chart and I'm like, oh, well, if it goes below the gap, then what about these levels down here? But I should just get out. I should be done if it hits my target. Gonna trail a little bit more. Lock something in. Why not? Dang it, G-Man. You made me do it. It's G-Man's fault. I'll take off 60% of it. All right. From here, I'm going to look at initial balance extension. So I have this indicator. Next extension is at 24,937, which is also sitting at my high volume node. That's interesting. Let's do it. I'll turn my stop loss to above initial balance. That way, if it starts to close back within the initial balance, I'll be out. Might come back up. I'm okay with that. No, I did not add two more. I originally had 5 contracts. I took off 3. So I have 2 left. Just leaving a runner, 2 runners, I guess, to be more specific. All right, you guys. I have the duck race loaded up for the Lucid people. Since we're just working with some runners, I don't care if my stop loss gets hit. Let's do this. That's more fun. So a couple of you, I put names on here more than once if you had multiple entries. So just so you can see. Duck race time. Oops. Hopefully some of you guys are still in the chat. Y'all ready? On your mark. Get set. Let's go. Yeah, anyone who sent me a screenshot through last night on their Lucid giveaways, that's what this is for. For anyone who purchased the Lucid accounts and sent me over a screenshot. Oh, what happens if you... Maxwell, your chances are good. You got 2 ducks in the lead. Oh. 20 seconds left. Oh no, you guys, I screwed up. Lost Texan and Yartex are on the same duck. I was gonna say if that one wins, I'm gonna have to give you both an account. Oh, come from behind, Brandon. J Trader. J Trader got almost first and second. All right, cool. J Trader, I'll send you a message in Discord and get you hooked up with it. Fun times, fun times. All right, hit my stop loss. Looks like it's getting back above the initial balance. Ooh, I like it. That was kind of the scenario I was playing out. Gap fill, reclaim initial balance. Oh, Waffles, you missed it. I just did it. Can you hear the quacking in the background? You'll have to, I just finished it, so you can do it. Scroll back like 5 minutes. I won't spoil it for you and tell you who won. Brandon, you tore your Achilles on that race. I'm going for it, guys. That was kind of the scenario I played out or laid out earlier. Gap fill, reclaim initial balance, going for the long. VWAP is sitting up at like 2582, somewhere around here. That's also the value area high for the current session. Let's go. Let's see if we get some continuation on this. This bottom white line right here is the initial balance low. So it reclaimed that after filling the regular trading hours gap. That is why I entered the long. Oh my gosh. Do you pronounce it Bielka? Is that how you say it? The way you like spelled it out with a capital B and a capital L and then the K, that just like, I just connected the dots in my head. Is that how you say it? Bielka? Ah. I don't know why I was so slow to figure that out. Sorry, I was saying it wrong so many times before. Goodness. I feel like entering longs is where the battle is today. It's having to work hard to get anywhere to the upside. Are we gonna continue up? Is this the bottom, Scott? Isn't that the question? I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely key levels lower for sure. And I don't get the vibe that this is just going to rocket back to all-time highs. I don't think there's enough volume to support it. We'll see how it plays out. Where the overnight VWAP kind of moved down to like 79-ish, 25.79. We have point of control and New York anchor VWAP at 25.58. We have quite a few things we need to get through if this is going to like be super bullish and go back up to the highs. If it does though, like if it gets past, I would say somewhere around like 25.100-ish, there's not much holding us back before we hit those highs. But I'm not counting on that. Oh, you guys were so close. 86 likes. 14 more. And I have an account to give away to you guys. I have a Top 1 Futures 50K account. I can do a drawing for that. The struggle is real, you guys. This thing does not want to go up. Definitely going against the grain on this one. Good morning, smooth operator. I am long. Yeah, shorts. I can make an argument for both. So I was in a short. I took profit at the regular trading hours gap fill. And my reason for entering along is as I was in this short, I was like, you know what? If it fills this gap and it reclaims the initial balance low, that could be a decent failed auction setup. And that's what happened. So sticking to the setup, it's hard though, because overhead we have lots of like New York anchor VWAP, we have the session VWAP, we have point of control, like we're below all of this. There hasn't been continuation to the downside though. So there's a chance if if buyers start to get tired. You said ES is bouncing with a double bottom. I don't see the double bottom. On what time frame are you looking at? Oh, you're on the tick chart. Gotcha. There's lots of confluence for a bounce at this level. Bottom of my high volume node, regular trading hours gap fill, yesterday's New York anchored VWAP, and then reclaiming initial balance low. I like it. Yep, but we're also sitting at previous day high, value area high, below New York anchored VWAP. So there's decent reasons for a short too. It could go either way. Break even on what, Alex? Were you in a long and now you're in break even, at break even, or what? What trade are you in? Got in at 27 on what? ES? Or where? Oh, 25, 27. Gotcha. You're talking about NQ. Duh. Not sure if this thing has enough volume to keep going up. That's one thing I'm worried about. Let's get one more little push up and I'll move my stop loss to break even. Let's get a push up. Looking decent. We got point of control and New York VWAP right here. Let's see if we break through that or if that is where we're gonna reverse. This level here at like 25.59, if we hold above that, this thing could be going back up. But we also have the session VWAP sitting at like 25.92. I don't think that's right. 25.71 if I move down to the 5 minute. Coming into that level, what's it gonna be? Going against the grain on this one, I know. Yeah, I don't like the low volume. I think that's what's making me feel like this might actually not make it through these levels. It's grinding, that's for sure. The question is it going to grind up or grind down? I don't know. Smooth operator, I have a 50K top 1 futures account to give away. If we get to 100 likes. I don't know. We're 7 away. And I don't know if I'm going to stick through this price action. Might be signing off here in a minute. Might close this thing out early. I don't like the chop. I'm not even interested in a short. Longs and shorts. It's just ugly. I'll let this one play out, but I'll be done after that. Is ES going up? Yeah, not really going up, but it could be establishing a base. Previous day high 25.39. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of confluence for that level too. There was some pre-market support in that area. That's kind of where the 15-minute initial balance low is, right? Not initial balance low, opening range low. I don't know though. Like I said, I don't like longs or shorts right now. This is just low volume, crappy trading. Kind of just want this to play out and be done with. Zooming out to the 15-minute makes the long idea decent. Look decent. Some good wicks there. All right, smooth operator, have a good one. Man, look at that giant gap down on that candle though. That's why I was saying, like, if it breaks above that 25-100-ish level, could return to all-time highs, but I'm not counting on it because volume is so low. Might just chop around in here the rest of the day. What are you guys thinking in the chat? Think it's going lower? Going higher? I don't think anybody knows. It's all a guess right now. Ravi Karan, hello. Yep. It does look like selling pressure. Oh, there she goes. That's what the market was waiting for. All right. That is my cue to be done. All right. Finishing up for the day. Rob, you saw that coming? Of course you did. Hopefully you were in a short so you could actually capitalize on it. Yeah, G's is right. It'd be interesting to see if this reclaims the initial balance low, though, and it goes back up. Time to just chop and blow people's accounts, huh? Is that the plan? All right, guys. I think I'm gonna call it there. I'll be back tomorrow at the New York Open. And then I'll be in Discord too. Have a great day, y'all. Take care.